Vertical urbanism is a hallmark of cyberpunk cities, and Chongqing has mastered this art. Skyscrapers rise from the cliffs, bridges crisscross the skyline, and layers of highways stack atop each other, almost defying gravity. Here, there's little room for horizontal expansion, so the city climbs up, creating a complex maze of architecture. Think of the towering cityscapes from Blade Runner or Ghost in the Shell. Chongqing offers a real-world parallel. And it's not just the towering structures. Neon-lit signs narrow streets hidden in the shadows of the skyscrapers, and the ever-present fog give Chongqing a visual identity that feels pulled from a dystopian future. We are Aphrodite and Angela, two licensed architects and designers passionate about bringing you amazing architecture from China. And today, we are bringing you Chongqing, a Chinese cyberpunk cliff city. Cyberpunk aesthetics have long been synonymous with futuristic cityscapes, where towering structures rise into the sky, and urban growth is defined by its verticality. This concept, known as vertical urbanism, imagines a world where cities expand upwards instead of outwards, leading to densely packed, multi-tiered environments. These cities not only embody humanity's desire for progress and technological advancement, but also serve as a stark visual metaphor for social stratification. The wealthy elite occupy the highest, most luxurious spaces, while the lower classes live in the darker, more chaotic underbelly of the city. This aesthetic is rooted in real architectural trends seen throughout history, particularly in fast-growing urban centers. Several cities across the globe, especially in Asia, have adopted vertical growth as a necessity due to population density, limited land, and economic forces, inadvertently mirroring cyberpunk's vision of the future. Hong Kong. This city has been a real-world inspiration for cyberpunk aesthetics for decades. Its dense urban fabric is defined by its verticality. Skyscrapers and high-rise residential towers dominate the skyline, often built tightly together due to the limited availability of land, evoking a cyberpunk feel where different layers of society exist within a compressed space. In popular cyberpunk works like Akira, Tokyo's chaotic vertical architecture serves as a backdrop for futuristic narratives. With its neon-lit streets, massive electronic billboards, and densely stacked structures, the city has often been romanticized as the quintessential cyberpunk metropolis. In cyberpunk fiction, vertical urbanism is not just an architectural choice. It reflects the pressures of overpopulation, environmental degradation, and technological advancement. In real life, many cities are beginning to face similar challenges. As the world's population continues to urbanize, cities are being forced to adapt by building vertically to conserve space. One of those cities is Chongqing in China. Chongqing has a long and significant history, dating back over 3,000 years, but it is unique due to the city's challenging geography, being built on hills and cliffs at the confluence of two major rivers. The name Chongqing means double fortune. Chongqing started as an important trading center. Early construction consisted of traditional Chinese architecture with low-rise buildings, tightly packed along narrow, winding streets that adapted to the city's hilly topography. In the early 20th century, Chongqing began to industrialize. This period saw rapid infrastructure expansion. The terrain required innovative solutions, such as terraced construction and multi-level roads. Post-war reconstruction in the 1950s turned Chongqing into one of China's key industrial centers, with factories and munitions dominating its skyline. In 1997, Chongqing was elevated to a direct-controlled municipality like Beijing and Shanghai, largely to oversee the construction of the Three Gorges Dam and manage the resettlement of millions of people. This shift accelerated Chongqing's development to what we know today. The city's growth became explosive. To overcome space limitations, the city adopted vertical development, with residential, commercial, and transportation systems stacked on different levels, making it feel like a giant 3D maze. You can walk through an alley at one level and find yourself on the roof of a building at another. Its multi-tiered highways, escalators between districts, and aerial cable cars connecting high-rises create a sense of urban disorientation. It's chaotic, but incredibly efficient for a city built on cliffs. Chongqing's unique verticality and urban density evoke the towering cityscapes seen in classic cyberpunk films. In Ready Player One, the stacks, makeshift towers of trailers represent extreme vertical living, where social class and physical space are layered. It depicts a city as a multi-layered world. But unlike these cities, Chongqing keeps a balance between classes, and it manages to create spaces for people throughout the complicated multi-layered concrete landscape. In Ghost in the Shell, the visual juxtaposition of modern high-rises with hidden, forgotten lower levels highlights the tension between tradition and innovation, much like in Chongqing, where futuristic structures overlook older districts. Chongqing's development also includes large-scale urban renewal projects, transforming older districts into modern areas with towering skyscrapers, shopping malls, and commercial centers. Chongqing is massive, not just in terms of its vertical urbanism, but also in sheer size and population. As one of China's largest cities, Chongqing covers an area of over 82,000 square kilometers, roughly the size of Austria, with more than 30 million people calling this city home. It surpasses the population of entire countries and dwarfs global metropolises. In China, cities are ranked by a tier system. This is more than just a ranking. It mirrors the country's internal stratification. Tier 1 cities are gateways to the world, highly cosmopolitan and outward-looking like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. Tier 2 cities have a domestic growth and regional influence. And Tier 3, 4 and 5 are still in a new market development period. Chongqing is classified as a Tier 1.5 city. It's slightly less internationally recognized, but just as significant due to its massive population, regional importance, and rapid development. Unlike the classic cyberpunk theme of public spaces becoming privatized, the layered streetscapes in Chongqing, with pathways that run below and above ground, create unique, multi-dimensional public areas, transforming the verticality of the city into vibrant hubs for community life. The city's iconic Raffles City, a megastructure with a massive skybridge connecting 8 skyscrapers, features communal spaces like observation decks, gardens, and public walkways suspended hundreds of feet above the ground. These elevated platforms provide gathering spots for residents and visitors, offering breathtaking views while fostering social interaction. Similarly, the Hongye Cave, a complex built into a cliffside, incorporates shops, restaurants, and public plazas, spread across multiple vertical levels, seamlessly blending commercial and communal spaces. Chongqing feels like a glimpse into the future, both awe-inspiring and a little intimidating. Its towering structures, technological advancements, and layered streets make it a real-world reflection of the cyberpunk worlds we see in movies. But it also raises questions about the direction we're heading. Cyberpunk cities are often depicted as overwhelming and alienating. This idea aligns with Mark O.J.'s concept of non-places, transient functional spaces lacking identity or personal connection. However, as real cities like Chongqing grow vertically and embrace hyperurbanism, the question arises: is this future inevitable? Chongqing's rapid modernization and unique vertical landscape challenge the idea that cities must become impersonal as they grow. With thoughtful urban planning, these dense, multi-layered spaces can evolve into dynamic environments that merge technological advancement with human connection. Rather than succumbing to the dystopian vision of non-places, cities like Chongqing might redefine how we relate to urban spaces, offering both efficiency and a sense of belonging. The future of vertical urbanism doesn't have to echo the isolation of cyberpunk. It can create a new urban experience that bridges the gap between innovation and community. Will Chongqing shape the cities of tomorrow, or are we seeing the rise of a new kind of urban dystopia? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching.